Colleagues, the reality is clear. In the coming years, most climate and development finance will flow through the IMF and MDBs. Without reform and replenishment, our calls, however passionate, will remain rhetorical. MDB reform is the only path to meaningful, scalable financing in the foreseeable future. This requires a united stand and a strong collective voice from Africa, the Caribbean, and across the developing world. Only together can we ensure that the international finance system becomes an enabler of resilience and prosperity rather than a structural barrier. Thank you for your attention. Special drawing rights were intended to support climate action and resilience. They must not become another instrument of conditionality. The Resilience and Sustainable Facility designed to channel SDRs for climate has become an add-on to IMF programs bound by traditional conditions. SDRs must serve people, not procedure. Number 5, energy sector integration. IMF debt sustainability analysis must account for energy sector reform. Without significant investment in power systems, green industrialization will remain a deferred dream. IMF's common framework must be reformed to deliver real relief, not merely more processes. As it is now, it is an engagement of a never-ending process network that by the time it comes to fruition, most countries will have already undergone significant distress. Number 2, replenishment of consensual windows. IDA and the Africa Development Fund, ADF, are lifelines for Africa and other developing regions. Unless replenished at scale, development finance will remain significantly and severely constrained. Number 3, capital adequacy and multilateral development bank reform. Balance sheet optimization is insufficient. It cannot deliver the trillions required. AFDB's issuance of $750 million in hybrid capital 2 years ago is commendable, but marginal compared to the challenges we face. MDB capital increases are necessary and, in fact, are an imperative. By strengthening our joint efforts, developing common strategies, and advancing coordinated initiatives, Africa and Caribbean can ensure that reparations speak not only to the injustices of the past, but also to the inequalities of the present and the promise of the future. Let us seize this moment to build a partnership that delivers lasting and meaningful impact for our peoples today and for generations yet to come. I thank you for your attention.
This summit is a watershed moment and should be a turning point towards our collective aspiration. Historians will certainly put on record that from Addis Ababa, Africa and the Caribbean renewed their covenant to honor our ancestors, to uplift our descendants, and reclaim our shared destiny in freedom, justice, and unity. The African Union stands proudly and firmly with our Caribbean brothers and sisters in every step towards reparatory justice and true liberation. I thank you.
Geography may have placed us apart, but history has bound us together. Let us free ourselves from the language of charity, of recovery, of being called developing. Let us instead rise into something new and ours, where the waters that once divide us now unite us in dignity and prosperity. My dear brothers and sisters, our experience, guided by the spirit of Muddamar, together with our collective innovations in energy, agriculture, digital technology, and knowledge, can be a bridge linking Africa and the Caribbean in shared prosperity. To turn vision into action and building on the commitments of the first Africa Union CARICOM Summit, I propose bricks of unity built on 4 pillars of impact. First, agriculture and digital innovation. Advancing climate-smart farming, tropical crop research, and resilient food systems paired with digital platforms, AI, and e-learning to amplify impact. Expanded renewable energy will green our farms, processing facilities, and trade. Second, innovation and collaboration. Creating hubs of entrepreneurship, digital infrastructure, and research, linking startups, universities, and institutions. That also means easing mobility, more accessible visas, expanded transport and logistics, making partnerships practical and possible. Third, culture and leadership. Expanding youth and leadership exchange, strengthening cultural and creative collaborations, not as a symbol, but as engines of identity, innovation, and opportunity. Fourth, knowledge and health. Building research networks to address tropical medicines, marine ecosystems, and climate, harnessing our collective knowledge to solve shared challenges and improve health outcomes. Through these bricks of unity, we link our universities, our economies, and our cultures, making distance no barrier to progress. Let us not be distracted by the challenges that surrounded us. Our regions have always faced adversity. What has changed is that we now choose to face it together, defining our own solutions and future. In this new era, we cannot speak in fragments. We must speak as one. That's why the AU-CARICOM partnership matters. It is rooted in opportunity, guided by frameworks that reflect today's reality. In a world where global challenges demand regional unity, and where regions like ours cannot act alone, there is clear alignment between us. On climate justice, our voices carry weight. In global governance, our demands are just. For inclusive growth, powered by innovation and use, our ambition converge. Across these issues, each region brings strengths. Africa brings scale, natural wealth, and boundless potential. The Caribbean brings strategic diplomacy, strong institutions, and resilient communities. Together, those strengths are multiplied. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Ethiopia's past shows what is possible when unity meets deliberate action. We call this Muddamar, synergy, the strength that comes when heads, hands, and hearts work as one. It is more than cooperation. It is a shared effort, a unity of purpose that turns idea into action and action into lasting change. This synergy drives national progress through connection, culture, innovation, knowledge, and unity. Connection links us. Ethiopian Airlines, Africa's largest carrier, links our continent to many corners of the world, bringing people, economies, and ideas together. Culture defines us. Our UNESCO-recognized festivals celebrate heritage, pride, identity, and creativity. Innovation drives us. Through the Green Legacy Initiative, we planted over 48 billion seedlings in 7 years, restoring ecosystems and creating jobs.
For the Caribbean community, this summit on the African continent represents a homecoming. For centuries, our peoples were separated by an ocean, by a colonial system, and by an international economic order. Nevertheless, we have remained connected through an enduring spirit and a shared heritage. This shared heritage, informed by a horrific range of violent displacements and the ensuing struggles for freedom and self-determination, has produced a vast diaspora of people of African descent, defining themselves differently, yet all looking to Africa as our historical birthplace. This gathering is a tangible manifestation of our commitment to bridge the divide. Indeed, we are not merely building a partnership, we are reaffirming a familial bond. The first summit meeting generated commitments to collaborate in areas such as health, mass media, transportation, trade and investment, and in reigniting people-to-people contact. In the years since then, CARICOM and the AU have worked to bring our regions together. We have begun to operationalize the CARICOM-AU Memorandum of Understanding, which puts in place a supportive institutional mechanism to support the development of our partnership. We have launched the Health Development Partnership for Africa and the Caribbean and drafted an action plan for its first year to fulfill our shared goal of enhancing our capacity to meet health sector development needs. Yesterday, the second meeting between CARICOM and African Ministers of Health was held, concretizing the foundation for ongoing active engagement and collaboration. Similarly, CARICOM's partnership with Afreximbank is deepening with the establishment of its Caribbean headquarters in Barbados and the hosting of the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum in 4 CARICOM member states since 2022. These initiatives address priority areas for both CARICOM and Africa, and this cooperation will contribute positively to sustainable development and facilitate better livelihoods for our people. Yet there is still much more to be done. There is undeniable potential in the growing partnership between Africa and CARICOM. Further solidifying this partnership would stand as a testament to the enormous benefits of South-South cooperation, which has become an urgent necessity given the rapid changes in the international order. It also reflects the reality of our contemporary world. Just decades ago, many of our countries fought for independence and faced great hardships in our movement for self-determination. Most are only now raising their first and second generation of people who will have no personal recollection of colonial rule. We stand today as a bloc of developing nations determined to secure a prosperous future for our people. We recognize but are undaunted by the challenges ahead of us, for we recognize that our combined strength is a formidable asset. The theme for this summit, a transcontinental partnership in pursuit of reparatory justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations, is particularly timely as the international community observes the second International Decade for People of African Descent, which began in January of this year. It is also significant that the African Union has designated 2025 as the year for justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. The CARICOM Reparations Commission has been at the vanguard of this movement for more than a decade, providing intellectual leadership and global advocacy on this critical issue, including engagement with African communities in Africa and in the diaspora. This summit notes the injustice of colonial rule and the transatlantic slave trade and acknowledges that we must be unified in our demand for due compensation for the exploitative practices that traumatized and disadvantaged millions on both sides of the Atlantic. I anticipate that the mechanisms which will be established to concretize collaborative work on reparations and the declaration emerging from this summit will send a powerful and decisive message of cooperation and determination.